Alright, so we're back in the shop today having a truck repair. I've got a 2013 Dodge Ram with the 6.7 Cummins diesel engine. I was getting the engine code. The code is P2201. That code is the inlet nitrous oxygen sensor. This is the part right here. It's your oxygen sensor harness with the bracket and the plug. And I guess this is the built-in amplifier here. But the reason I'm doing this, the dealership charges you $1,500 for this part. And they charge you $1,000 for putting it in. And the $1,000 for putting it in is a bargain, but I can get this part on Amazon for $250. So just make sure, I'm going to show you where the inlet one is, because there's two sensors. One's an inlet, one's an outlet. The outlet is towards the rear of the vehicle, on the rear tire passenger side. It measures the gases after you spray the DEF in and you treat the exhaust gases. So this one's the one that goes out the most because it's up near the engine, so it's getting hotter all the time. Plus, it's the dirtiest because your gases obviously have all the contaminants in them before they go into the DEF chamber. So I'm going to show you where this is located. I've already put it on. A little hard to video. It's a really tight space, and if you have someone in your family with some small hands to help you out, be sure and get them to help you, because you're going to need some small hands to put this on. So here's the inlet nitrous oxygen sensor. It's mounted right here. There's a heat shield right here. You'll have to remove that nut, or there's a little screw actually, and bend that out to get your wrench on this sensor. But once you do that, it comes out pretty easy. I went ahead and tie wrapped this up to the brake line. I'm trying to get as much distance between the exhaust and all this heat and my sensor harness. So I brought it down. This is a factory clip where it goes to, and the real problem is where that connector bracket mounts. I'm going to try to get a close-up shot of that, but that's where you need your extra set of hands. There's two little screws with some insulating vibration mounts. You've got to put all that together through the bracket, and then there's a little nut on the back side that you have to attach it with. So let me see if I can get a closer shot of that. So here's the top side of that bracket. You can see the orange little vibration insulative mounts. One thing that I did was I put the stud and the insulating mounts through the bracket, and then I actually put an O-ring on the back side of that stud so that it would hold all that in when I go to put the assembly into the bracket. That way you're not trying to fight these things falling out, and when they fall out, they go all different kind of directions. So just a little trick there. Put all that together, put a little O-ring on the stud to keep the assembly together. All right, so once you got your assembly on there with your O-rings, you can just start the little nut by hand on the back, and then once you get that started, just put the nut on as far as you can, and then this is where you're going to need an extra set of hands. Somebody's going to have to hold the head of the screw while you put a wrench on the nut and tighten that down. All right, so here's the bottom of the bracket. You can see where the harness plugs in. That yellow clip, you got to put a screwdriver in that slot and pry that clip straight out. It's on 2 little arms that come straight out. They come out about 1/2 inch to 5/8. Once you've got that orange clip all the way out to the side, the plug just comes right off. And you can see here on the bottom, I've got a nylon grommet. I lost, this is the second time I put a sensor on. The first sensor lasted 5 years. I replaced it. My replacement sensor lasted 4 years, so we'll see how long this one lasts. Here's your inlet sensor. This is the old one. Looks like it's got some contamination. When you buy your new sensor, you want to make sure you have this connector, this style connector. That's for the 2013 Dodge Ram 6.7 Cummins diesel. Also, you want to make sure it has this heat shielding on it when you purchase it. That's very important for the life of the sensor. The outlet sensor doesn't always have a heat shield on it because it's not as hot back there. So make sure when you're replacing the inlet sensor that you have the heat shield on. All right, so I did clear the code, started the engine. The engine light did not come back on, so I'm assuming everything's fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the wheel well liner back in and put the wheel on, and we should be done. And hopefully I can talk my wife into washing it for me when I'm done. Just when you thought summer was over, it rears its ugly head again. So I'm putting in this wheel wire liner. You will need some of these. When you pull these out, they don't really go back in very well. So I had some of these in the shop, the right size. So you can pick them up at the hardware store or the auto parts store. But a good assortment of these is a good thing to have around the shop as well. So I've got my outside screws in, got 3 of these to install, and then we'll put the wheel on and we'll be done. You always want to hand start your lugs. Never use the impact. All right, so when you're torquing your wheel, you want to torque your first nut, then the opposite, and the back nut, then the opposite, back nut, opposite, back nut, opposite, and then I torque them all the way around.